Well, hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Camp Firelight Cokesbury VBS question and answer session. I am here with Megan T. Garden, who is one of our Cokesbury Kids leads and also our VBS Test Church coordinator. And before we go any further, I want to give you a disclaimer and let you know that we in Middle Tennessee are experiencing some thunderstorms. So if something does happen to the feed and we go off, we will reschedule and do this again. But hopefully we can get through this today and look forward to answering your questions. And so Megan and I are gonna answer a few questions that you guys have sent in early. And if you haven't sent in your questions while we're going through those few questions, we'd ask you to type your questions in the comments of this video, and our team, we will see them and we will answer them. So thank you. And I think we're ready for our first question. Let's see what that is. Where did the idea for Camp Firelight come from? And I'm going to give this to Megan.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. So when we are developing VBS programs, we have a big brainstorming process. And one of the things that we like to do in this brainstorming process is to identify issues that we think kids and families might be facing or dealing with or struggling with. So when we were planning for Camp Firelight, one of the things we identified and one of the things we wanted to teach to was this idea that many kids today have a lot of fears, whether it be from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic or world events that are going on, or just the everyday anxiety that we know many kids struggle with. We wanted to give kids and families hope, even in the midst of fear. We also wanted kids to understand that God is with them everywhere they go. And while they may be afraid, there's also comfort in knowing that God is with them in new and different places. So with that idea, we started brainstorming some different settings that could help us teach this idea. And one of the settings that we thought would really help foster this idea was the setting of a sleepaway camp. So for a lot of kids, a summer camp can be a great adventure, but it also can bring up a lot of fears and anxieties with being away from home or trying new things. So in Camp Firelight, our first-time counselor, Counselor Sam, will share some of their fears and anxieties. And with the wisdom of Lou the Lightning Bug, we hope that kids will discover that God is present with them no matter what, even in our fears.
Thank you, Megan. Appreciate that. Let's see what the next question is. Oh, that's a short one. Can I answer that, Megan? What is the theme verse for Camp Firelight VBS? And that is Psalm 56:3. And if you've been at test churches like Megan and I have, you've heard the kids say, whenever I'm afraid, I put my trust in you and that you is God. And that is from Psalm 56:3. That's our theme verse. And yeah. You'll hear it all the time, and we also call our theme verse the camp call out. Let's see what the next question is. Megan, you want to take that one or start
Sure.
with that one?
So the question is, has anyone already used or tested Camp Firelight VBS? If you are in our private Facebook group, you have probably seen some pictures from Camp Firelight. Might be a little bit confusing for some people. So if you didn't know, we do test our VBS programs every summer previous to the summer that they will come out. So with Camp Firelight coming out next summer, we tested it this summer. And we have 3 amazing test churches that helped us with this across the country. And they work with us and plan with us. They're also involved in our development process. And then they get all the materials ahead of time and they test them for us and let us know how it is received. As Scott mentioned, we as Cokesbury Kids staff have the joy of getting to go to some of these test churches, so we're able to see how the VBS is going in real time, and we can let you know that this program was incredibly well received this year. The kids at our test churches, they especially loved the music. They loved Lumen, the lightning bug. And they really loved the scripts with Counselor Sam each day. They had a blast in the rotations, particularly the snack and the recreation seemed to be a big hit at test churches this year. We also talked to some of the adults that were at our test churches, both the adults that we work with that plan their VBS and then just the volunteers that are there. A lot of them shared that they loved the memory verse, they loved the theme. Many adults shared with us that this theme is a nostalgic feeling for them. A lot of us have gone to church camp or summer camp, and it was an exciting memory to revisit with VBS. So overall, the feedback has been incredibly positive with Camp Firelight, and we're so excited for you all to have it in your hands next summer.
Thank you, Megan. I don't know if this question is going to come up, but I just have to ask, what was your perception of the favorite song?
I think the favorite song is hard to say, but there is a song called the Firelight Chant, which is kind of designed to be like a hype song for the beginning of your assembly song. And so the test churches that I was at, the Firelight Chant was by far the favorite. There's lots of stomping and clapping and getting really, really excited to be at Camp Firelight. What about you, Scott?
Megan, I think the two test churches I was able to be at, I think that was most definitely the favorite. And we saw some really good singing and motions to VBS song with Camp Firelight, and some pretty good singing out loud too. So
oh yeah,
great song.
And the music that you heard in the countdown and the videos, those are instrumental tracks of two of our songs this year. So if you enjoyed that music, it will be heard with words, with really fun words, as a part of the music CD this year.
Thanks, Megan. Let's see. Tina Keller, when will the music be available in whatever form we use it to introduce the theme? So I think it's my turn to answer a question, so I'll answer a question. Right now, you can hear pretty nice clips. You don't have the whole songs yet, but you have pretty nice clips of all 10 songs are on the website on CokesburyVBS.com, which is and those are free to listen to. I think the music for download is like the earliest you could get your hands on it, and that should be released right around the beginning of the new year. I think that's it. All right, yeah. All right, let's see what's next. Here's one from Debbie McConnell Stewart. I pre-ordered Camp Firelight and I'm so excited. Approximately when do you ship those to pre-order people? Megan, you want me to take this, or do you want to take that?
I think I know the answer. If it's incorrect,
right.
Please let me know. So usually they ship in February 1st is about the latest date that they would ship. It depends on our vendors that we work with, but we aim to get it in your hands by the end of January or early February. So January, start looking for it at the beginning of January, and then hopefully you'll have it by February 1.
And I'll just add on a comment here. What we've done the last couple of years, because we know a lot of you are plan aheaders, and so what we'll do is people who pre-ordered the kit at some point, probably November, we'll put together and send out a link to what we call the early start packet or whatever, and it's really just a link to some digital files that you can use to start getting planning going. We like to try to have the director guide, the preschool leader, and some decorating files and maybe we'll put some music in there too. That might be helpful. So, and I think that's it. Let's see the next question. What is the difference between the Ultimate Starter Kit and the Digital Access Starter Kit? Megan, do you want to take that one?
Sure. So the main difference with the Ultimate Starter Kit and the Digital Starter Kit is the Ultimate Starter Kit comes with printed leader guides for the rotation. So both kits include the director guide that Scott mentioned. You will get that printed in a printed copy no matter what. But if you get the Ultimate Starter Kit, you will get printed copies of all of the rotation leader guides, such as science, craft, recreation, preschool, kindergarten, music, assembly. You still get those with the digital access starter kit, you just won't get a printed copy. Also, with the Ultimate Starter Kit, you get printed copies of our DVDs. So our Bible Adventure DVD, our Decorating and Publicity DVD, and our music DVD all come with the Ultimate Starter Kit. Again, with the digital access kit, you get those files, you just won't get a printed copy of them. Both kits include samples of our student books. They include other samples from the program, such as our stickers and our scripture lanyards. And there's a few other goodies in there. But the main difference is if you want those printed books that come with the Ultimate Starter Kit, then you'll want to go that route. If you have a way to print them yourself and you want to get everything electronically, then the digital access is a great option for that as well.
Thanks, Megan. That's a great answer. Thank you so much. Is Camp Firelight easy to use? I would say yes, it is easy. Now we build our programs to be very flexible for many different settings, and that's why we tested multiple churches that do it multiple ways. So it is very flexible. If you like flexibility, I would say it's easy. If you don't like flexibility, you can pretend that you can't change anything that we've written, and it may be easy for you too. So I'd say it's about as easy as you can get.
And I would say too that director guide, if you're new to Cokesbury, has a lot of things in it that can help you make your VBS easier. There's ideas for schedules. If you have different day models of VBS, if you have a 3-day, 4-day weekend VBS, there's lots of ideas in the director guide. So if you are new to Cokesbury or if you've never looked through the director guide, there's a lot of great tips in there to help make the program easy.
Another thing that's helpful is as we complete final production on the program, we'll fill up that free resources section for Camp Firelight, and there's just tons of things available to help you put on a great Vacation Bible School. All right, let's see the next question. Is there another one? Will we have a chance to preview any of the Bible story videos or music videos? That's a great question. Probably they're not in their finished form yet, but I think we could most likely put up we've got permission to put up the theme song on our website once that one's done, so we can put that out there. And I think there'll be opportunity to see the Bible adventure videos, not all of them, but probably one of them, and maybe we can also put some clips of those out on social media so you can see that. Is it possible to get a digital file of your student books? Megan, do you have that, or do you want me to answer that one? All right, I'm going to take this one. The books that we call student books that are in color, these are not available digitally, but we have similar books that are called reproducible fun pages. And they're for younger students and older students. It's like pre-K up through first and second grade, and then your older children, these reproducible fun pages. And those are download only, and every page is reproducible. They're black and white, so every page is not colored. But they are very similar activities and serve the same purpose as your student books. You just distribute them one page at a time. Does that sound about right, Megan?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, let's see what's next. Here we go. We usually have a multi-generational Bible school. Is this particular VBS program, Camp Firelight, also conducive to older adults? Megan, you've seen some test churches. What do you think?
So that's a great question. While we do have an intergenerational study guide that we put out every year that comes with our programs, it's actually a free resource and it ends up on our free resources page. So that is the one thing that we have that would be particularly geared to adults. But I will say that many of our test churches, in fact, both of the test churches that I went to had great volunteer participation with older adults, both parents and much older adults, and they all were having a great time in Vacation Bible School. Now, obviously, they were there as volunteers, so that's a little bit different than having a specific study that is geared to you as an older adult. But I think we really try to write our programs in a way that everyone, no matter what your age or walk of life is, can get something out of it. While the theme may be geared towards children, the Bible stories are timeless and they are classic, and you could definitely take the Bible stories and the Firelight focus, which is our key learning for each day, and apply that to a study for older adults. And again, check out our youth and adult intergenerational study guide that will be available for free on the website, and that should help you out with that as well.
Yeah, I might say just a little bit more
Mhm.
on this too. Thank you, Megan. That was great. If you, I will say that some churches in the past have used our program. Our program is really designed optimal to be a rotate where students rotate between different activity stations, and really our program is designed in such a way that if you mix groups like elementary age and up, you can rotate. And so some churches have actually done intergenerational. I think some of them actually tried it during maybe the second year of the pandemic, where people would rotate with family groups. So it would be, everybody in one family would be rotating through VBS rather than all the first and second graders, all the third and fourth graders, which churches also use our program to do. But we did have some intergenerational rotation groups out there that were using our programs, and I heard back that worked very well. Thanks. All right, Dakota, you got any more? Along the same lines, is there any way the material will be available earlier than the February 1st date? Prior to COVID, it was available in early December. I don't think the physical items are going to ship any earlier than the beginning of February. But again, if you're a person who's ordered a kit, you're going to have access to some of the primary things you're going to need for planning. We'll also have sample sessions of each of our activity leader guides, so you'd be able to review and check those out. There'll be other sample items that between that and what we send to the kit buyers, you should be able to start your planning pretty well. How do you get to be a test church? If you're interested in being a test church, I would recommend you email us at Cokesbury VBS at cokesbury.com and let us know.
And I will say along with that too, we wish we could have many test churches. We aren't able to have a lot of test churches, but it's great to send us an email so that when we do bring in new churches to the fold, we know who's interested. So if you're interested, please do email us so that we can have your info.
And one other thing that we haven't mentioned is so a first step to being a test church would be to participate as a reviewer. In addition to kind of guiding our test church process, Megan also works with a pretty good group of reviewers for all of our station leader books. And so one of the first steps in becoming a test church is to work as a reviewer with us. Thanks. Cat Holly. We are considering Cokesbury, but is there any hope the back end of the digital site will have the ability to track attendance for students and volunteers online? And that is Megan. You get the answer this one.
Sure. So this is a great question. For those of you that don't know, we do have a free registration site that is available as a part of our program. We offer that every year with our VBS. At this time, unfortunately, our registration program does not have a built-in feature that can track attendance for students or volunteers. However, depending on what your software is that you use at your church, it does have the functionality to interact and sync with that, and you can upload a version of your registration to that. However, that's different from church to church. So Kat, we can't say for sure whether or not that would be something that your church would be able to do, but we do know that it is possible for some churches. I would also say to this that if you're considering our program and the registration site is a part of your decision-making process, you are welcome to use our program and use another type of registration. We have a lot of churches that use their own database to do registration. We have a lot of churches that use other types of VBS registration sites. There's several on the market. So we're happy to provide one that comes along with ours, and we know that a lot of people find that as a huge help, but we also know that depending on your context or your size of your church, it might not necessarily meet all of your needs. So we just want everyone to know that while it's there as a help, it's not required to use both, and you can definitely use our program with other sites.
Thanks, Megan. That's great. Dakota, do we have another question? Will you have the snack and craft calculator resources? Those are built into the website. So yes, we'll definitely include those again this coming year. How do you suggest decorating for Camp Firelight VBS? Let me start by saying you really owe it to yourself to get the complete decorating mural package, and I probably didn't say the name right, but that typically, let me see if I can tell you what it's called. I've got the price. Actually, complete decorating mural package. I had it exactly right. I would start with that for sure to decorate. I'd get that in a puppet and a kit and start there. But this is about summer camp and sleepaway camp, and there are just all kinds of things you can do. One of the things that I didn't really think about, but we saw all over our test churches, were just the camp chairs or the folding chairs that we bring to cookouts and things, and that was big. There's artificial Christmas trees. There's this particular campus or this particular VBS. I think you're going to find that you have a lot of things on hand that would work for it. Megan? What did you
Yeah,
see that blew you away?
there was a lot of possibilities that we didn't think of that our test church came up with. One thing that I really loved is, and you'll probably see this once you get the decorating guide, but they figured out a way to make ropes courses in their hallways. So they did a zip line, not actual rope courses that the kids would participate on, but they were part of the decoration. So they saw a zip line and a rock climbing wall. It was actually very cute. They used a lot of the puppets from previous VBSs. They had them, zipping along the zip line, and also that climbing on the rock wall. So I thought that was really cute. I loved seeing the different ways that our test churches made cabins and different elements of camp too, like picnic tables and cots, all of those fun things. A lot of churches brought in the night sky element in one section. So it was fun to see like a night sky with stars, because that's something that we think of when we're on the outdoors. So you have your camp theme, but you also are in the great outdoors, right? And we know that any VBS that has an outdoor theme is really, really fun to decorate for. And so we're excited to see all of the ideas that you all will have as you start planning for VBS and decorating for Camp Firelight.
I know we're close on time, but I wanted to throw one other thing that one of our test churches, every year they do a blacklight haul. And it is for this particular program, it was a great way to bring that night sky into inside of the church. So the kids were able to experience the night sky. This VBS happened in the evening, but it was early evening and it's still light outside. So they were able to experience that night sky right there in the comfort of their own building. So it's really cool. All right, I think there's only one more question. Will there be materials for 7th and 8th grade students? The intergenerational guide that Megan has mentioned that we put together, that is designed for use by both youth and adults, and will work very well with your 7th and 8th graders for content. Okay, I think that's all the questions. I think there was one other question that came in early that we haven't answered, and I'm wondering if we can answer that. Megan, would you tell us about the Bible stories?
Sure. So you can definitely see this on our website, the Camp Firelight website, but the 5 stories for Camp Firelight are God goes with Jacob, which comes from Genesis chapter 28, verses 10 through 22. So this is the story of Jacob leaving his home and the dream that he has when he's traveling. Session 2 or day 2 would be Ruth chooses to go, which is the story of Ruth and Naomi from Ruth 1. For session 3, we'll be focusing on young Jesus in the temple. That story is called Young Jesus Shares Wisdom. We also then go to session 4 for Jesus Calms the Storm, the version in Mark for that one. And then our final story for session 5 is The Good News Sparks Joy, which is Acts 8, which is the story of Philip and the Ethiopian that he meets when he shares the gospel with the Ethiopian. So we're very excited about the stories, and they all were very well received in test churches as well.
Thank you, Megan. That's great. The stories are outstanding, and one of the several of the test churches said we haven't done some of these stories in VBS and maybe even Children's Sunday School, and it's really good to get these stories in front of our kids. So we're excited about that. Friends, we are out of time, and I think we're done with questions, but you can continue to ask questions. Either there's 2 ways you can do that. You can send them to us via email at cokesburyvbs@cokesbury.com, or you can also join our private Facebook group, Cokesbury VBS. Cokesbury Vacation Bible School is the public page. Cokesbury VBS is a private group. If you'll join that group, you can definitely get lots of questions answered, and you also have the benefit of many of you amazing VBS directors out there, and the experience and wisdom of the total group. So,
and our test churches are in that group as well, so they will often answer questions for everyone in that group. I will say too, if you submitted a question during this and we didn't get to it, our team will go back in and respond to you on Facebook or YouTube and let you know the answer to your question if we weren't able to answer it live today.
All right. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you again soon. Probably for training will be coming up after the first of the year. So thank you so much.
Thank you.